think that means we are ready for our presentation from Gary Eckmeyer.
All right. Thank you to Smootums, and thanks for everybody for coming. And I could bounce it off of what Tom said about the room being the gorilla in the room. Wouldn't it be great if we could get rid of it? And I was in my blurb in the LC, uh, I was talking about headphone listening and the possibility of getting rid of all of your equipment problems and subwoofer problems and room problems by listening on headphones. But the problem with listening on headphones is it doesn't externalize. And wouldn't it be great if it had a head tracker mechanism? Smootums was introduced to the Smith Real virtualizer, right? Which was an attempt to turn binaural into something that did externalize, only it was externalizing to somebody's existing speaker system, and I didn't understand why they would do that. My great hope was that if you just had some inexpensive head tracking mechanism, you could research this and see if it would externalize with either binaural or regular stereo recordings. So I happened upon the Waves NX head tracker for $99. I thought that would be the way to go, so I tried it, and it didn't work out real well. So I started looking into more things, and I saw the Zoom H3 VR recorder. This little fellow, you can see him. He's no bigger than an orange or a softball. He's recording right now, and it's a ambisonics microphone with recorder. With a miniaturization is so amazing in these things nowadays, and the reason that I was alluding to all this is I turned 80 in December. And ain't none of us getting any younger, right? So I was thinking ahead to the problem of leaving my home and my system and my big room, and what would I do then? And wouldn't it be wonderful if this binaural on headphones with head tracking worked? You wouldn't need to worry about any of that anymore. You'd have the finest listening system around. You wouldn't bother anybody around you, and you'd be in business again. Everybody's learned how to miniaturize everything else. You could take your entire record collection and put it in a solid state hard drive the size of a cigarette pack. There's so many things about it that are so worth pursuing. And now the kids and gamers and whoever else is into this stuff, I've just started looking at it, are into VR, virtual reality. They're putting headsets on and going places and playing games in 3D and in full surround. They can look all around, as I understand it, and they can hear the 360 audio all around. How in the heck are they recording that stuff and producing those recordings and distributing it to people to have fun with it? I'm just interested in the audio part, really. So I also found those things cost like up to $500 and more. I found one for $31 that you can stick your cell phone into, and you can see some program material in 3D and virtual reality. It should arrive sometime today, and I'll see if that works and how they're doing that sound, because it'll tell me in the instructions somewhere how to get programming, and then I'll be able to see if it works or not. In the meantime, the Zoom surround sound and VR recorder was so inexpensive it would be fun to play with it. I could learn about ambisonics, which we will go into, I could learn about this object-based panning that we've read so much about, whether we're talking about Atmos or ambisonics or television and movie panning objects around instead of sending channels to speakers. It's completely speaker agnostic, which means you can tell the thing what direction to send a sound, and your surround sound system at home or in the theater will do that with this technology. So it costs $250, and it works. I'm saying that it's a fairly good recorder of audio, and if I can get I am sharing now. Slideshow from beginning. All right, am I in?
Yay.
All right. This is Zoom H3 audio production. I'm going to use the process to tell you as much as I have learned about ambisonics and this little recorder. It's got, if you're familiar with the ambisonics mics, this is the first order 4-capsule mic setup there. It's standard ambisonics with mics looking in every little direction and capturing the entire 360-degree sound field, with which you can do a number of tricks. The recorder uses a little mini SD card and captures like over 20 hours of audio. Unbelievable. It takes 2 AA batteries, which go for over 10 hours. That'd cover any recording. So the first step is to record the concert. You put it on a stick and stick it in front of the orchestra, and you're recording the concert. What's more, it can be done with an app on your iPhone. This controls everything from starting and stopping to the gains. You can watch the gains as it's recording without having to stand up and look inside the recorder screen. There's a menu for selecting files and settings and everything. It can also record upside down or sideways or straight up as normal. What it's recording when you're recording live is the A format channels with those 4 capsules. And what they are getting is front left up, front right down, back left down, and back right up. That means not much right now, but it can take those ingredients and make sound out of them. These files represent 2 runs of the camera. First I did a little mic check, and then I waited for the orchestra, and then I started it to record through the entire performance with file number 2 here. So I've downloaded those files from the recorder to the computer, to a hard drive, wherever I wanted to put them for my project. So that's the A format files. And now I'm going to open the H3 player, which is a free app that comes with the purchase. This is where all of the processing is done, converting the A format ambisonic files that are straight from the recorder to whatever else you want to do. It can do stereo, binaural, surround, or custom LR, which I'll explain a little bit later. So those files, I'm just going to use file number 2 because the first one I don't care about. And they are now ambisonic A format files. Then you press convert to ambisonics B type files. Those are the main types of files that it can use to make those 4 different formats that I showed you in the previous slide. It wants you to choose whether to use this, they call it FU-MA or X ambisonics B format files. That has little concern for any of us, except it just, the order of the files that you recorded with those 4 mic capsules will be in WXYZ or WYZX order for the math to work on making them into 5.1. Most programs I've found use the X, so you choose X and press on. The meaning of those letters is here. W is just an omni microphone pattern now. X is now a figure 8 bidirectional pointing forward, and then the others are left, right, and up, down. Now, using some tricky math, the player, the Zoom player, can convert those into any format that you want to produce. So now you save that to the project, and then you bring that back into the player to work with it, and it can do these. And so I'm going to do 5.1 surround. This globe icon can rotate your listener position or the field that you want to have recorded. It's absolutely amazing that you can plant this thing in front of the bands or orchestras or whatever activity you want to record, and then in post you can tell the mics to point to the left or to the right or behind you or up or down, anything you want, because the recorder has recorded 360-degree virtual reality everywhere. So what I'm going to do is press 5.1 surround, and it's going to output a new file to the computer that I will save in my project. But we're not done yet. These are now AmbiX files. That I'm going to use in Audition, Adobe Audition. I'm going to choose no template, 48K 24-bit, and a 5.1 session. So Adobe knows that I want to produce a 5.1 format file out of this. The AmbiX 5.1 file that the player created has 6 channels now. The math that the player used made it into left, right, center, LFE, left surround and right surround. And those, as I understand it, are going to be the standard format layout if you don't do anything with them, that you will play through your surround sound system in your left, center, and right, left surround and right surround speakers. In order to do that, we have to be able to steer the channels as desired to refine the direction that they're going. I have converted those to mono files to drag into the multitrack editing process. And it shows up in here now after I've dragged it into the multi-track side of the Audition program. They are now channels 1 through 6 as indicated. That's what they look like in the multi-track screen in Audition. The first one is always left, the second one is right, the third one is center. LFE, which is obviously smaller than the other channels, left surround and right surround. But we're not done yet. There's a little icon on that screen for a track panner to show up. And this is where the magic happens. If I didn't use the track panner, all of those channels would play straight ahead in my center channel. But with it, I can drag which direction they go and also how wide they spread the sound. This is going to be the sound that was recorded from the left channel of the recorder. Obviously, there is no actual left channel in the recorder, but the math that went into the process converted the ambisonics A to B and then to a left channel signal. I can make it narrower or wider. I can move it all around. And I have done this. I've moved that sound all around the circle in my listening room, and it actually works. Of course, I want to put it somewhere near the left channel, so I can either spread it wide and spray it towards the left channel, or I can focus it more and put it more precisely where I want it. Same for the right channel and all the others. Now, we're going to go back to the big screen where all of the channels are, 6 channels, and I'm going to cut these songs. I can't see it because it's obscured by the gallery, but this is where you can run through all of the songs or numbers that you've recorded and cut them where they start and where they end, export them to a 5.1 file. Now they are on my hard drive in my project folder as the national anthem, an open and greet fun file where there's audience noise and announcements and everything. You can hear the full surround field. A song called Skater's Waltz, and all the rest of them. And then each one I can cut the beginning and the end, fade them in and fade them out, just like I want to hear them in my album. I have figured out how to take my laptop into my listening room and connect it to a HDMI line that goes all the way into my editing room and amplifiers, and I can hear what I am doing in the editing before I have to put it on a SD card and put it in a player or something. I can hear what I have done right now. And I can even see it on the big screen with my projector because that's connected to the same receiver. It's almost easier to see it up there than down here. But I can hear it on my speakers that it will be playing on when it's done. And that's how I could tell what that track panner was doing when I was editing and get a little more familiar with how to do the editing and panning and everything else that goes with it. How do you play a surround sound file? I'm going to output it to a SD card that I have connected with an adapter into my computer with a USB port. Just put them in whatever order you want and put them in there and put them in a folder. Do whatever you want. But now all of your music is in here. I'm going to stick that SD card into an adapter to go into my Blu-ray player, which has surround sound output to the receiver. If you don't have a Blu-ray player that can do that, you can buy a $45 player that they're selling now that can take an SD card and put it out through HDMI into your receiver, and it comes with a remote, so there's no excuse for not being able to download surround sound from the internet simply because you weren't able to play it before. If you have a home theater or a Blu-ray system that can play surround sound, then you can play your music that you've recorded with the Zoom. Of course, if you just get a solid state hard drive, you can put any number of files. You can put your existing music in it, and you can play it like that if that's more convenient to you than doing it on a network. There are other types of mixers than Adobe Audition. This is from Waves. It's the NX. It's the first one that I got when I got the NX head tracker, and it hooks up to your headphones to track your head movements, and it shows your head here and your speakers, and you can use their mixing system to move sounds around a little bit. Not as flexible as with the track panner, but it works. It didn't impress me with its binaural sound and realism, but this is another optional mixer by Rode. They use different techniques of moving the channels around and outputting them. Here's a more expensive one from Waves, the B360. It cost us $300. Haven't tried that. So that was Ambisonic's first order, editing and playing, but there's more. If you're a professional doing VR or movie sound or whatever, I don't know what all they can do with it, but higher order Ambisonics has more capsules. This is a Sennheiser. It looks like it's still just a first order mic, but there are various ones, but they cost a bit more. If I could read this. In studying all of this and in actually doing, I've learned a little bit about Ambisonics anyway. It has from 4 to 49 channels possible. Second order Ambisonics has more mic capsules on the mic, and it's capable of outputting 9 channels. Third order, 16 channels, and it goes all the way up to sixth order, which can record 49 channels. We already covered this, front left up, front right down, and all that can record the entire sphere. First order Ambisonics X B format has 4 channels, W, X, Y, and Z, representing, we've covered this already, 4, aft, left, right, up, down. And then the math plays with those and converts them to stereo, 5.1, Binaural, in their binaural conversion, they actually are using an HRTF. Um, it's not going to be your HRTF, but uh, I've got great hopes for it. um, some mixer software converts it instead of a left and right mono channel, it converts it to just an LR, which you can then spread wider or narrower. It's just a different way of doing the same thing. And that's, if that's not confusing enough, here's a chart with the different mics. The Xylea is a third order, which would have 16 channels, not necessarily 16 capsules, mind you, but it'll end up being 16 channels. Oh, it says 19 capsules. The core sound is a second order that has 8 capsules. I think they call it the octomic. And again, that would produce 9 channels with 8 capsules. Sennheiser sells one. It's a normal one, but it costs a lot of money. And the Zoom H3 is an entire first order recorder and virtual reality recorder that can do it all for you to play with. That's all I know. Hello everyone again, this is Gary, back for a short video addendum to the H3 video to clear up a few misunderstandings and errors and show you a couple of editing things that are absolutely necessary to know. We have dragged all the files into the laptop, connected up into the studio room here. I'm sitting where the speakers and everything are, so I can hear what I'm doing. Then we open up Audition and drag the files into Audition. I think I've already shown that. It has been put in no template and 5.1 surround sound mode. We are now going to go to Edit, Preferences, Audio Hardware, and Settings. But first, on the device class, there's MME and ASIO and Wasapi, WASAPI. We're going to select Wasapi, and the latency is 30. The sample rate is 96,000. And then we're going to go to Settings. We'll get into the audio settings that are part of the laptop audio system. It's going to be going to the AV receiver, Configure, 5.1 surround, test that. All the sounds are coming from the correct speakers. Next, optional speakers are center, subwoofer, and side pair. Next, full range speakers are designated as front, left, and right, and surround, even though they're not. The system doesn't know that. Configuration complete, finish. We're going to go to Properties, HD audio driver for display audio. Supported formats. It's got all the formats for surround sound in there. Levels are up, advanced, 24-bit 96,000 seems to be required in Audition to play back these H3 files. And spatial sound is always set to off. Okay. Okay. And then we go to audio channel mapping, and if we are really lucky, they all fall into line. The left, center, and right are going to channels 1, 2, and 3. 4 is going to 4 LFE. 5 and 6 are going to left and right rear. So when we go to the program, they will play from the correct channels. And when we steer the track panner, they will go to the right area of the room. I'm going to go to channel 1, track panner. I want the stereo spread narrow. And the angle a little wider than the left channel. Center channel, or right channel rather, is got a narrow stereo spread and an angle of 70 degrees. Center is straight up, narrow spread. One trick is the LFE channel, channel 4. It's not real clear from the diagram on the screen exactly how to set the spatial part of that. So I've got it set to radius of 40, an LFE level of 50, and center is at 100%. Stereo spread is 66 degrees with an angle is immaterial, 10 degrees. Left rear is panned a little bit farther around the horn than the left surround channel. And right rear, similarly on the right. I've got the LFE set to 30 on all channels. And that seems to work out by ear when I play the music. Let's play a little bit. Sounds good. The channelization seems to be working right. But there's one final little thing that we've got to remember to do. On your receiver, there are many modes for playing surround sound. We've got to make sure that this is set to multi-channel. If it's not, the channelization will not work, and the sounds that you recorded in the various directions will not decode. From there on, we've simply cut the songs, exported them to a WAV file, which is then a 5.1 surround sound file, and then done the fades at both ends and saved them to a hard drive. From that hard drive, they will eventually go to an SD card for playback in your stereo system, surround system. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Thank you very much.